This call is being recorded.
Fat Cat Radio 247, you're live in a mix of a very special event. FCR 247 brings you the Matthew Rix live interview event. Tune in right now as we bring you the man, none other than Jive Records A&R, previous Jive Records A&R. Of course, man, he also has over 10 million in streaming sales on Spotify and iTunes, as well as the latest edition of Matrix Minutes hit 100,000 streams in just 36 hours. It's the amazing man who goes by the philosophy, millionaires are common. Someone who is truly happy is not. So real quick, Matthew, man, thank you for being here. And, of course, man, I just want you to, before we get in any further, touch briefly on who you are and what is your This Is Me speech.
Well, I want to start off real quick, Twism, by tomorrow's your birthday. So I want to say happy birthday to you. I will, I hope that the next coming year is going to be one of just of where you take the land. With your dreams and your passions and your career. So I just want to say happy birthday to you. I consider this just a huge honor to be with you today. You know, I get requests to do interviews, and I don't respect a lot of people. I love everybody, but I don't respect a lot of people. But I have a huge, tremendous respect for you and the work ethic and the drive that you have. And so this is an honor for me to be here. I'm glad that you put previously Jive Records. Don't want to get sued. So yeah, that's previously with Jive Records and Sony.
Yeah.
So don't want to get sued by them. So that's good. No, who I am. Man, I'm a guy who I've worked my ass off. And I've been very blessed. And, I'm going on now my 21 year. I just celebrated my 37th birthday yesterday. And thank you for the card. And you trying to be the strippergram for me was a little too much, but we'll work on that for next year for the birthday. I love you. I didn't need to see all that. But going in my. You laugh, but he knows how embarrassing it was for me to have to watch that. And
I bet, right?
Yeah. Man, I hope your rap is better than your dance moves. I'll just say that right now.
Tell me about it.
Hope the interview goes a lot better than your stripping moves. And
yeah, exactly.
So tomorrow for your birthday, we buy you moves from the strip club. But anyways,
just get me MC Hammer.
Dude, who can't do the hammer move? I mean, I still do it, all right? I
personally can't do the hammer move.
No. Oh, well, I'm going to come up to Canada. We're going to do an event. We're going to do some breakthrough. We're going to end some suffering. We're going to give some knowledge. And then afterwards, a bonus, we'll teach everybody how to do the hammer move, and then maybe we'll give each other Vanilla Ice.
I'm going to hold you to it.
What's that cheesy-ass white rapper? What was his name? Vanilla Ice, right? It was
Vanilla Ice, yeah.
We're going to give everybody, we're going to give them all the haircut with the claws on the side. It's going to be a great event. We don't know when it's going to happen, but people start petitioning your government and Prime Minister Zoolander up in Canada, and let's get me up there, all right? So I can do all this. Okay, I just lost all of Canada. This is great. So who I am, 21 years in the music industry. Started when I was 16 years old. I like to tell everybody all the time is that, family grew up in the music industry, so I was able to kind of get moved to the front of the line, got hired in rock radio.
Nice.
And what happened through all that, I got hired to do rock radio promotions for Jive Records, and then quickly went into regional promotions for Jive and BMG and all that.
Nice.
And, it's like people will be like, well, it's easy for you. You kind of just walked into the situation. I did. But I always like to tell people, it's one thing to get the girl. It's another thing to keep her. You can walk in the door, but if you start treating everybody bad, if you start thinking that you are way too important in life, people are going to want to work with you anymore. And
right.
And that happened in my life as well. I at 21 years old, I grew a company. I profited $500,000 at 21 years old. It was a music industry company. I was the boy wonder. Everybody in the music industry was trying to do business with me, wanted to work with the boy wonder. The next year, I stopped taking everybody's advice. I was angry. I would literally fire my employees in the morning, and they would be like, "Oh yeah," and they'd go back. They'd go back to work. End of that year, I bankrupted myself. bankrupted myself. How do you go from profiting $500,000 one year to the following year bankrupting yourself? And it was because I lost the girl. It was because I lost sight of who I was. So I went on to go work at Sony, did that, worked at Warner, did that. That was fun. Great companies, great people. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, I took a look around, and I've toured with some amazing bands, toured with some amazing people. I've signed some amazing artists, and I've lived a really blessed life. And about 4 or 5 years ago, it was just kind of a eureka moment for me where I woke up and I just kind of realized that as an A&R director, you make a lot of promises to artists that you intend to keep. You know, if you sign with me over these other assholes, this is what I'm going to do for you. And you say this stuff and you truly mean it. But now you have to go and get 21 other different departments and 21 different other people around the world to see your vision. And if they don't, well, you now have just screwed this artist's career. And now they have failed on a grand scheme. And you don't mean to lie to these artists, but you do. You know, everybody always looks, when it comes to record labels, they always look at, like, the successful artists. You know, everybody, like, they always point to the guy who has sold 10 million records, but they don't count the hundreds and hundreds of artists that every record label signs that literally nobody ever hears of because you couldn't get everybody else to play ball with. And so for me, I walked in one day and just kind of in a self-reflective mode, I just decided that it was easier for me to work with artists when it came to doing the Matrix Minute, when it came to doing events, than it was to sit, make a bunch of promises to artists that I truly meant to keep, but I couldn't get everybody else on board. And now I've ruined their careers. I've lied to them unintentionally, and I've destroyed themselves. And a lot of times with these artists, they have to pay the bill back to the label.
Exactly.
With interest. So now, not only have I destroyed your career, but I've also bankrupted you because I couldn't get, you know, some a-hole in Miami to play ball with me in the marketing department, and they just trashed my career.
Right.
So that's when I started a couple of years ago. It became the self journey that I really wanted to be the ambassador for artists of all genres. I think we know what genre we're not going to be an ambassador for, but you know, they're too old and stupid and don't know how to write lyrics, so we don't even worry about those people in the classical world. But sorry, my apologies. I mean, dude, so far we've pissed off Canada, we've pissed off classical music. You will not have a show after this interview. I'm just letting you know right now.
You know what? Either that or I'll be a viral sensation. So I tell you what, I'm willing to take the gamble. Okay.
Yeah, this is like the car wreck on the side of the road. This is pretty much
exactly.
It was funny. My agent told me when he first saw me speak live, and I did this huge event. And he saw me, and he says, "You're passionate, but you're sloppy." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take that. I'll go with that one." You know, he's like, "You never know what you're going to say, but you really believe in what you're going to say," which is kind of a weird, you know, paradigm.
Oxymoron.
So,
yeah.
It's that. Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, you know, like everyone's like, "Oh, what a hypocrite." I'm like, "Aren't we all?" And
right.
So I started doing this thing in 2014, just literally on a wing and a prayer. Started releasing the Matrix Minutes. And it was just kind of something I was just going to throw it out there. Didn't really have any expectations, but I just kind of thought I had big dreams for my life, as you can tell. If 10 people listened to it, then those 10 people is what it was meant for. That year we went on to do about 7 million streams, traveled the world, did events. I mean, there were some events that we were getting done at midnight and hopping on planes 4 or 5 hours later to go out and do another one in a different city. Excuse me, Triz. And this is my life. And it really became, you know, we'd go to these cities and we'd meet these artists who, you know, they're on the verge of cutting that check for $5,000 to some A&R director at a label. And they listened to the Matrix Minutes and they were able to save that money because they realized they're about to get scammed. And so for me, that's been kind of like, you know, if you say, well, who are you? I'm going to tell you right now that, you know, someone referenced me as, they're like, you're kind of like the music industry Superman. Like, you know, you go in a booth, you change, and you're like the villain killer. And I'm like, I mean, that's kind of cool, you know, like that's really a cool analogy to be Superman. And and that's kind of like my mission today, as I'm really out here to help artists to to end suffering in their lives, because so many artists don't know a damn thing about what they're doing. They get in, they set up a Twitter account, they put a song on SoundCloud, and then they just wait for, Dre to come hit them up. And it's like, that doesn't work that way. This is a business, and you got to know the business. And so I'm kind of a Trojan horse, if you will, when it comes to what I do, is that I'll give you what you want. I'm going to tell you about the music industry. I'm going to tell you what you need to look for. I'm going to tell you everything in your life that when it comes to being an artist, how you can be successful with or without a record label. But I'm also going to tell you what you need. I'm also going to give you what you need, which is the art of fulfillment.
Right.
And because what is the purpose of getting the record deal, getting the women, getting the fame, the awards, and all this stuff, if you're not
going to be happy about it? Exactly. Well, it also sounds like, that besides fulfillment, you're teaching, and it sounds like this should be applied for more than just artists. I mean, it should be applied across a broader base, maybe as far as just a life, lesson. One of the things that I've been reading about you is that you're very blunt and you're very, hard love with it. And I think in today's, atmosphere as a musician, a lot of people don't get the hard love aspect of it, but at the same time, somebody who's willing to give them the hard love and walk with them. And from what I've read through your bio and some other things, is that you take the time to walk hand in foot with, each of these people that you've been in their lives with. And then we go on to say, Jive Records, Warner's, would you say Sony? I mean, this puts you in a catapult kind of position where you're able to make or break somebody. I mean, how does that weigh in upon the mind of a man who's just simply trying to achieve, the end of human suffering and some enlightenment on fulfillment?
Well, the thing is that you said you make or break them, and I've never viewed myself like that, And even nowadays, like I can go back to early or late August, all right, and went out to do Vegas and went to go to Burbank, California, and do some events. Right. And as this goes on, you're going to actually hear my voice get worse, okay? And so I have voice issues, and. Yeah. We get in the car. I think it was in Burbank. We get in the car, and I travel with a wonderful group of people who are, they're very selfless, and they make me look way better than I really am. All right, I'm just going to be honest with you. And I'm in the car from Burbank, from the airport, driving to the hotel, and I'm talking to the shuttle guy, and I'm just talking. I found out what his 401k plan is. The last time him and his wife had a fight. I learned it all on the drive. And I get a text from one of the ladies who I travel with, and she was like, "Stop talking." And at that moment, I was actually well, who the hell are you going to tell me to stop talking? You can see the band, But I realized what it was is because later on that night, I'm talking and I have no voice.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Never think of myself as, it's like, you want to end human suffering? Shut up, all right? That's what they really were telling me. But
another one of those oxymorons, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're bringing a lot of suffering by talking, all right? Like nobody, this guy's just trying to do his job, and you're trying to find out when the last time he had fiber, and
thank God you got a strong confidence, right?
Right, yeah. Here's the thing is like today they're like, "Oh, you're going to do this interview. It's going to like a really long time." I'm like, I'm going to talk to somebody anyways. I might as well be for an audience, and it helps some
right,
people.
Exactly.
Because it could be the poor person at the gas station, and so when it comes to
just anybody listen, please listen. You know what I mean?
Oh man, that's why I talk in my sleep. I don't get it all out during the day, and so I got to do it in my sleep.
My wife would say the same thing about me, man. She says I don't shut up.
No, it's a great, because here's what it is. Honest people always have to say something. The quiet people you got to worry about. They're the ones that are always scheming. That's why I let it rip. I just let all the cards up. But back to what you're saying about make or break. Like, I've never viewed myself like that. Even when I was in labels, I never viewed myself as somebody who holds that power, because at the end of the day, who am I? I'm a guy who dropped out of high school at 16 years old. I don't even have my GED, or as I like to call it, the good enough diploma.
Yeah, but you do have a lifetime of experience that has positioned you to be of someone who has knowledge. You know what I mean?
Right, but When you tell
I mean,
so now, are you about to stump me, man? I'm not liking this right now. All right? We're gonna have a phone connection problem here. No. Knowledge is great. Okay, and everybody has knowledge.
Yeah.
But what is actually knowledge unless you use it for something? Unless you use it to better the world.
Right.
To better the lives of artists. It's like when you tell, like, I go to these events, and one just pops out to me right now, but I go into these events, and undoubtedly there's always some asshole in the audience who knows more than me. Always happens, okay? And the guy has been an artist for about 7 days, and he knows more than me, and that's fine, I mean,
Yeah.
or you get the old farts, so the guys who are like in their 70s, and they're like, well, you're not Mick Jagger, why should I listen to you? And I'm like, well, you're not Mick Jagger either, so why should I listen to your opinion about me? There we go, all right? We'll go in a circle. And
circle of life.
Circle of life. It's like when people get offended, they're going to sue you. Well, I'm offended that you're offended, so now I can sue you, so we can just sue each other in a circle.
Oh, man.
But there's always somebody who knows more, and I never challenge them because I can learn something from them.
Yeah.
And so knowledge without action is just information you're gathering. You're just Google at that moment in time. If you don't take that knowledge, and you don't use it and apply it and make things better, not just for your life, but for everybody else. Because the purpose of a goal, and I tell artists this all the time, the purpose of a goal is not to get a record deal. It's not to play the Billboard Awards. It's not to have your song on radio. That's not the purpose of the goal. The purpose of the goal is who you become in the journey of getting all those things.
Yes. Yeah. Nice.
Because I tell artists all the time is that if your goal is to get a record deal, I'll give you a contract right now. Now what? If the purpose of your goal is
now. Yeah.
No. The purpose of your goal is just to get laid, go buy the woman. Now what?
Yeah.
There's got to be more to it. But see, that's where we go back to the science of achievement versus the art of fulfillment. If you have a purpose and a mission, I have 10,000 sales and streams. Big deal. Big deal. What is my purpose for this? To sit here and build monuments to myself? No. It's to go out there and help these people.
Right.
Austin, Texas.
Give them knowledge that they can act upon.
Well, and the thing is that it's not even about the knowledge. I want to give you action. You can find this knowledge on the internet if you apply yourself. You can read books. There are great universities out there who will charge you $75,000 a year to teach you knowledge. I teach you action.
Right.
I teach you how to get up and go for it. And my whole thing is that if you're going to treat people like garbage, your life and your career is going to be like garbage.
Well,
you can't sit here.
Go ahead.
No, what were you saying?
Well, I was going to say
It's your show.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it was your email or somebody's email. It's we are known by the company we keep. Is that familiar to you? Yeah,
that is the slogan for my agency, for my company, for the agents. That's their motto.
That's such a great aspect. And like I said, once again, not just as an artist, but just in life, period. You know what I mean?
I have always been somebody, I grew up in a family very music business dominated. I was the youngest of three.
Right.
My brother, the middle child, he's 6 years older than me. My sister's 12 years older than me. All right, so there's a huge age gap, I'm like 4, and I'm like, Santa's real, and they're all like, the stupid kid, and I always kind of had to be around older people. Right. And even nowadays, I still invest most of my time in people who are older than me. Those are my friends, those are my mentors, those are the people I trust. Growing up, I always associated with older people, and with respect to my dad and my mom, they would always tell me that if you act like a kid, you're going to be a kid.
Man, it's about action rather than knowledge. And you know what? You kind of are just out here to try to make a difference in the world on a musical and artistic level. You give people the opportunities if they are worth it, right? If they value themselves enough. Is that what I'm understanding?
I believe inside every one of us is a masterpiece.
Right.
And I believe inside every one of us, we had a tragic situation that had happened again in the United States on Friday where somebody walks into a school and they take the lives of innocent kids, and we've seen it time and time again in San Bernardino and Paris and Orlando, and I always get asked, when stuff like this happens, I always get asked, what type of person does this? What type of person inflicts pain and suffering and death on innocent men, women, and children?
Right.
And my response is always, I don't know what type of person does that, but I can tell you what type of person does.
Exactly.
And that's a fulfilled person. A person who is fulfilled. A person who has a purpose and a meaning in life. They don't want to intentionally inflict pain and suffering on anyone. And so what happened with me was, when I went on, I believe that our lives are we're all writing stories. And everybody's life is a warning or an example.
Right.
And I think so many times what happens is that you have great people, you have great people who just lose sight. They get too bogged down. They start telling themselves stories because, you're going to bullshit everybody else. You're not going to bullshit yourself if you're healthy.
Right. Especially when you look in the mirror.
Right. What the problem is that we start to tell ourselves these stories that we start to believe. That the only way as an artist I'm going to be able to succeed is if I have a record label. Or the only way that I'm going to be happy is if I make $1 million. There's nobody who is more miserable in the world than a rich, pissed off person. Nobody. I'll tell you a story. A dear person in my life was telling me this story about a person, and she said, I asked him what is the purpose of his life, and he said, the purpose of my life is to get as much as I possibly can without hurting, with hurting as little people as possible. Right. She told me that, and I was like, oh, okay. And I went to the gym, did my thing. A couple of hours later, I come back, and I was like, I called her, and I was like, I got to take issue with this whole thing. And she was like, okay. And I was like, because I've been thinking about it. That is a terrible mindset to have.
Right.
And she was like, why? And I said, to get as much as I possibly can without hurting as few people as possible. Why do you got to hurt anybody anyway? Let's start there. But also, if this life is all about you getting, then all of this then is just for selfish endeavors. It's all about to meet your ego, your narcissism. You're not really here to contribute. You're here to just get. Everybody here is just for you. And she was like, yeah, that's a valid point. I said, of course it is. Because the purpose of this life isn't for us to get. And that's the one thing that I try to drive through artists. Like I told you, I'm a Trojan horse. I'll give you what you want, but I'm going to give you what you need.
Exactly.
I'll give you the information. The one thing that artists and people in the arts have just gotten brainwashed, and I don't know when this story started. It must have started 100 years ago. And it just keeps getting passed down like fruitcake at the holidays. Is that you being an artist, an actress, an actor, a conductor, a producer, whatever, is that this is all about you and your art. People believe that they were put on this earth to create art.
Right.
To act, to perform, to sing, to dance, whatever. They believe that they were put on this earth for that. And my response is always, no, that's not what you were put on this earth for. You were put on this earth to make a contribution. Whatever talent you have. I mean, 2014, I had a great voice. In 1 year, I trashed it from speaking so much. So if I was a singer and my identity is wrapped up in singing, well, now all of a sudden I've lost that opportunity, so now I have no purpose.
Right.
When you talk about the science of achievement versus the art of fulfillment, I've done this now for 4 years, globally, wherever I've been. I was in China last year. I was there for a month.
Right.
And I don't care if I'm in Brazil, if I'm in Canada, if I'm in China, if I'm in Austin, Texas. Always ask them. A few years back, and I can update it now, unfortunately. I can update it. So for your audience, we'll use this one. I go, we lost a national treasure a few years back, Robin Williams.
Oh man, tell me about it. I love that guy.
Robin Williams.
I really
Robin
did.
Williams.
I loved him.
Listen, any city I go to, and I ask them, do you love Robin Williams? I don't care, like I said, if it's in China, Brazil, Texas, Toronto, California, wherever. Do you love Robin Williams? 98% of the audience will always raise their hand. That's not that you liked him, but did you love Robin Williams?
Yeah, man.
98%, and then I give shit to the 2%, like what the hell's your problem, and all that. But you want to talk about a man who achieved everything he set out to do. He moves to California in search of his hopes and dreams of being an actor. Bullshit. Everybody moves to LA to be an actor, and he did it. He achieved it. He achieved it. Then he wanted to get into movies, and he did. He achieved it. Then he wanted to have the most beautiful family in the world, and he achieved it. Then he wanted to make more money than he could ever spend. He achieved it. And he wanted to make the whole world laugh. He achieved it. Then he wanted to do something completely crazy, and he wanted to win an Oscar for something outside of comedy, the thing that he was always known for, and he achieved it. And he wanted everybody in the world to love him. He achieved it.
Heavy is the crown. Heavy is the crown. Yeah, heavy is the crown, man.
And the reason why he hung himself is because we have a lie that we believe ourselves, that life is all about you gathering stuff. It's all about you achieving stuff. He hung himself in his home.
$1 million home. $1 million home, not less.
Leaving millions of people around the world with a loss. And screw us, what do we matter?
Yeah, right.
He left his family and kids with the burden and the scars for the rest of their life that this man was now filled. We saw it happen with Chris Cornell. We saw it happen with Chester Bennington. You can look at the rappers who got everything in the world. And yet then they go and they go to jail because they get a gun. They have a gun.
Yeah. Or
they and they're not supposed to. Yeah.
Oh.
So that is the difference of achievement, where you're constantly going out there and you're achieving stuff versus the fulfillment. And that has been my mission now for the last few years, is about ending suffering. And people think that well, I'm an artist. How can it be? Well, artists are suffering. Artists fall for the scams. Artists fall for the casting couch. Because you're constantly going out there trying to achieve stuff instead of having a fulfillment, having a purpose. And because the purpose is just about your art. Art didn't, you create art. Art didn't create you.
Right.
And I've seen so many great people in this life who they buy into this notion, this bullshit notion that I'm an artist, I'm an actress, I'm an actor, I'm a producer, I'm the 1978 homecoming queen, or whatever title you give yourself. And that's where their identity lies. And then when you ask them, what is your contribution? It's always the someday. I love to challenge artists. I was in New York City 2014, did an event. And, some of our events are advertised for 2 hours. Some of them go for 10 to 12 hours.
Oh, yeah.
12 hours. It was funny because one time I was doing like a little intervention with somebody in the audience, and I asked 62 questions before I even said anything to the artist.
Wow.
Because I just asked a ton of questions, all right? But I was in New York City, and this guy stood up, and he said, I was one of the original artists signed to Def Jam in the 80s. All right, cool, man. Yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. And he went on to tell me about how he tried everything. I tried everything. Oh, you tried everything? Yeah, I tried everything. I'm like, everything. Well, not everything. Well, how much did you try? Oh, millions. Oh, you tried millions of things. No. And then you get down to it, and he's like, okay, I tried like 5 things after I got dropped from the label. And he kept telling me how he was one of the first artists signed to Def Jam. I was one of the first artists signed. And finally, I just cut him off, and I'm like, yeah, and we're all so fucking proud of you. I mean, listen, you're one of the first. You're one of the first artists to get dropped from Def Jam. That's really what you're telling me. The story is.
You're one of the first done.
You want to tell me how you were one of the first who were signed? I'm telling you, you were the first who were dropped because I've never heard of it.
Exactly.
And I got this notion, and people will try to sell me in as like this positive thinking guy. And I don't believe in positive thinking. Positive thinking is not sustainable.
Right.
Positive thinking says, go to your garden and chant, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds. Right. I got news for you, buddy. There are weeds there, and they're about to take your garden. I believe in the truth. I believe I believe in seeing things as they are.
Yep, realism. Yep.
But not seeing it worse than what it is, which is what most people do out of fear. I can't tell you how many times I go to a city, and the artists who come and they're like, oh, I thought this was going to be a scam. I thought you were going to do this. I thought you were going to do that. And I'm like, you don't even know it. You didn't even do your homework.
Yeah.
But you already built the story. You already built an analogy. You haven't thought about it.
Right.
And the reason why you did that is because you're afraid. You're afraid to trust again. You're afraid to get out there. How many people have you met in your life who have just given up on love? They're not just giving up on love.
A lot.
What happened? Oh, yeah, I dated this asshole, 4 years ago, and he did this to me. I'm done with love.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense, but it's the stories that we tell ourselves. The same thing happens as an artist. And you mentioned earlier how this is something that's outside, that you could do this with art, outside of artists and music industry. And I could. But the reason being is because nobody wants to deal with the artist.
Yeah. That's very true.
There's
very true.
You got Jocko, you got Tim Ferriss, you got Tony Robbins, you got tons of great people who will help the housewives. And I'm here for the artist because that's my purpose and passion since I've been 16 years old.
Right. So, okay, I got a question. I got a quick question for you, though. So, I've heard you talk about the mission to end suffering, and does that entitle just just these music conferences, or is this more to this than just a conference? Is this what is this, an idea, a philosophy? I mean, I would assume that the Matrix minutes are involved in this idea to end human suffering.
Well, the end human suffering is just not one-dimensional.
Right.
The end human suffering for me is kind of, to use a record label term, it's a 360 deal.
Oh,
and what do I mean by that is I support if you cut me today, one of my passions is to end the violation of human trafficking.
Right.
All right. Especially of children. All right. So I do a lot of work with an organization called Saved in America. I do a lot of work with Operation Underground Railroad. I do a lot of work here because that's my passion. Nice, and I go to these events and I encourage people to donate to them. And the artists will always tell me, well, I don't have the money. And I said, look, here's the deal. If you don't have 10 cents to donate of a dollar that you have, you're never going to give $1 million of 10 million.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, man.
And everybody's always worried about the human suffering when it comes to themselves. How can I help my finances? How can I help my career?
Yeah.
Let's take ourselves out of the equation and stop looking at ourselves and looking at what's going on in our community. I'll tell you, I believe when it comes to ending human suffering, I was actually saying this last night to someone, is that to end human suffering is a great thing, but I got to end it in myself first. So I'm actually coming up these days. With a thing of where everything I do in my life is now where I'm telling my body and I'm telling my mind that I'm in control.
Right.
And I never lead with my head. People go, well, I was thinking about it. I don't ever lead with that, because when you lead with your head, you're going to start overanalyzing, you're going to start thinking. I always do everything to lead with my heart, because the heart's going to always direct you in the right way. I know it sounds kind of hippie-ish and all this stuff, but it's the truth. All right? Like what's next? We're all going to get naked and hump each other? Like, no. Okay? We take that to the Montreal event. Okay?
Yeah, I was gonna I was just getting ready to say, man, some of the audience may actually be like, "Hey, man, when does that start?" You know what I mean?
Well, my ticket prices are going through the roof if we do that.
Yeah, right.
But honestly, that's one of the reasons why we're getting ready to announce all of the rest of 2018 events, and we're doing it for free.
Oh, wow.
There's going to be absolutely nobody who's going to have. If you don't want to pay, you don't have to pay to come to an event.
Really?
Because yes, that's going to be worldwide.
Wow, that's incredible.
I'm not taking sponsorship. I don't take sponsorship. I don't believe in sponsorship, because I'm not going to sit up there and talk about Reverb Nation or anything like that.
Yeah,
I talk about what's ever personal for me. But we're doing this as a service to help artists. And don't worry, we're going to pass the hat around at these events. We're going to raise some money to end human trafficking as well. It's one of the most violated crimes. But to end human suffering, I got to do it in my life first. So every morning I wake up and I do 15 minutes on the treadmill. I sent you a picture earlier of me on On the
Yeah, I seen you. I seen you.
Not the treadmill, the trampoline. Sorry, the
Yeah,
trampoline.
man.
15 minutes on it. Start that off right away. I don't care if I've got 3 hours of sleep, I've got 5 hours of sleep, whatever. First thing I do in the morning is I get on the trampoline, I get the blood going. And then I jump and do either a cold plunge or get a cold shower. I do whatever to shock the hell out of my body.
Yeah.
And then after that, to end my own personal human suffering, and I take 15 to 20 minutes every morning now. And what I do is it's not meditation or anything like that, because I can't, meditation tells you to shut your mind off. I can't shut my mind off, It's like,
right.
There's a book out there called The 4-Hour Work Week. I'm trying to figure out how to get the 4-hour sleep week, all right? It's like I can't shut my mind off.
Hey, you know what? Hold on a second. I got something to tell you. I just discovered this the other day, that there's actually a mutated gene that exists in about 2 to 3% of the world, in which they actually do better and perform better with less sleep than the average human being needs.
Yeah, man, I don't know if I'm one of them or I'm just delusional at this point. I get about, it's funny because I'll be in conversations with people. I'll be in conversation, and then all of a sudden I just stop responding.
Yeah,
and they're like,
tell me about it.
Hey, I know you experienced that with me. They're like, what, did I do something wrong? I'm like, no, I dropped. Like, I
exactly.
Dropped, and I mean, I have
you make people nervous when you do that, man. You make people real nervous when you do that.
Yeah, it's I don't mean to. It's just like I'm like a 3-year-old. I'm like go, and the next week I just drop, And then by the time I wake up, there's like 84 people who are all sending messages like, "Are you mad at me? Did I offend you?" And I'm like, "No, I fell asleep, And I got the friends who are like, "Did you really send an email at 3 o'clock in the morning to me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because right now I have 12 businesses. I manage 8 of them.
Right.
I'm involved in 8 of them. I got the Matrix Minutes. I got my events. I got all of this stuff that's going on. I have the blessing and the pleasure to spend time with you on a Monday. I have so much going on that, I have a lady in my life that I got to make sure I take care of and spend time with her and grow. I got family and friends, and so I'm like, sleep is just kind of the last thing that I'm worried about,
Exactly.
And so what happens is that it finally catches up with me and I sleep for like 32 hours straight, It's like I'm like in a coma.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm always impressed with people like you. The ones who get up early, who will stay up late because they're committed to their passion and they're passionate about what they're doing. They're committed to their craft.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest with you. My kids hate it because come Friday night, I literally fall out in the middle of the studio floor. I have my blankets set up in the middle of the studio floor, and I will literally sleep for about 16 to 20 hours straight. And I usually wake up about late Saturday night just to eat and go back to sleep until Sunday.
Right. I've done that. I got people in my life who do that. They drive me nuts when I can't get a hold of them. They'll spend the entire weekend sleeping, and I'm just like, where are you? And it's funny because I was briefly in LA for a series of meetings. And one of the questions I was asked, and I always get asked this question even at events, they asked me, they said, everything you got going on and the contributions that you've made to the world and all this stuff, is it worth it? That's a question I get all the time. Is it worth it?
Right.
And my response is always, well, it depends on what your measuring stick is.
Exactly.
Has it been, buying 12 companies, traveling the world, now doing free events for people? Has it been worth it to my bank account? I don't know. I haven't had any losses yet. We'll find out. Has it getting the call at 3 o'clock in the morning to get on the plane to go work with an artist who has songwriters for? Has it been worth it? Well, when you got to cancel birthday parties, I don't think it is.
Yeah, right.
It's just, my personal life is hell because I have no time for that. I have a wonderful woman in my life. She's very supportive of me. And at times, she hates all of this. I'm just going to be honest with you. She hates all of it because, it's the call at 8 o'clock at night to go meet with somebody at 9 o'clock at night. And it's supposed to take 30 minutes and it takes 4 hours.
Right,
you know?
right.
Because it's an artist and they don't want to tell you what's going on the phone until you get there. You think you got to help them with a hangnail and you got to remove cancer. You know, I mean, it's kind of one of those things.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. Yeah, right.
Because they don't tell you. So it hasn't been worth it? I don't know. I guess we'll see. But I can tell you this right now is that everything I do is driven to a point of what is the purpose of it? Is the purpose of it to get bank accounts? Is the purpose of it to get, you know, I don't like press releases. I will not let my people send out press releases about me. Even in 2014 when we started the Mattress Minute, they wanted to do all this web ads. We had companies that came in, they wanted to buy into it and give me all this money to do web ads and promotions and all this stuff. And I always said, no, I'm not going to do that. And the reason why is because I'm not going to sit here and tell artists that you can do it without a bunch of money. Meanwhile, I'm taking checks for $100,000 and putting it up on web ads.
Exactly.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
And so there's just kind of this, you know, people go, oh, well, you could get a book deal. Like, I don't care about this stuff. Everything I've done, I've never cared about. I've never actually pursued any of this stuff. I never pursued in 2014 to have 7-8 million streams of the sales of the Mattress Minute.
That was just a byproduct.
It just happened. You know, I never went out with the goal of, oh, we're going to go do an event in South Africa and then hop on a plane and go over to Australia real quick. Like, that doesn't even make sense travel-wise. I mean, like, we're going to different continents. That was never my goal. My goal has always been to just help artists. And I've failed in some businesses. I mean, I've started some stuff that, man, that thing couldn't get off the ground if it's, like, dependent on it. And I've had other things where I didn't even try. And it happened. And I'm going to tell you what the secret of it is. And I quote, the great movie Notorious.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if you remember the movie Notorious. It was in theaters for like 8 days before it went straight to DVD. It was the movie of Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah. It's also on Netflix, too. Yeah.
Yeah, horrible movie. It's like state property, too, you know? Tough Daddy's character says to Biggie.
So
chase the vision, not the green.
Right.
And my whole thing is now is chase the vision, not the money. Okay, I stole it. I originally stole it. That has been my life. And in times of my life when I've chased after money, when I've chased after fame, I couldn't make enough money to be happy. And also, I couldn't get things off the ground because I'm just running towards money.
Right, you're too consumed. Right, you're too consumed.
When I start something, when I buy into a company, when I decide I'm going to go to Anaheim, California and do an event, when the purpose is to serve my fellow man, to serve artists, to protect them, to be the villain killer, to protect them from the scams that are out there.
Right.
I always have more success than I could ever imagine.
You know, I actually have a question for you. You know, you just brought it up. You said the scams that are out there. So my question to you is that do you feel like nowadays that the music business is more consumed with scams or with actual, quality, agencies and businesses?
I believe it depends on what you're looking at. Because you could sit here and say, Harvey Weinstein would not be classified as a scam.
Right.
But yet he violated hundreds of women.
Right.
So I believe it depends on who the person is in the due diligence. You know, it's funny, I had a guy 3 weeks ago on Facebook literally sends me a message. And, it might take me a little while to get back to, but I always get back to. And he sent me a message on Facebook, asked me some questions. I think it was like 6 hours, and I had not responded to him, okay?
Yeah.
And so he responds with, oh, you're just like everyone else in the music industry. You won't help unless you get paid.
Right.
And then so that caught my eye, and I was like, all right, let's stop everything I'm doing right now. We're going to reply to this person right now,
Yeah.
And,
right.
And I was like, nothing I do is behind, paid walls. Not yet. Okay, we're going to work on something that's going to really help artists, but there's got to be a bar of entry. I said, my events are even, if you email me and you want to come to an event, think it's just $75, you email us and you tell us you love to come, but you can't afford it, we're going to give you a ticket because it's not about money. That's just kind of a bar of entry. We had a guy in September Orlando, Florida. He walked 3 hours to come.
Nice.
I thought it was like freaking Jesus. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is like wildly uncomfortable for me. You know?
Yeah, no doubt.
And then after the event, when I found out, I was like auctioning him off. Like, who wants to drive this guy home? He lives like 9 miles from here. You know, like, it became like an auction. I started my own Uber company after the event.
That's too funny. That's too funny.
And I felt so bad. I mean, if I had a car, I would have been like, grab security. Let's go get in the car. Let's take this guy home. You know, like I felt so bad. And, but then when you talk about the scams, I mean, look. There are websites, there are people out there who set up Twitter accounts, set up Instagram, who are A&R directors for all of these different labels. And one, that doesn't even make sense because there's a non-compete clause with every contract that you sign with a record label. So you can't compete. You know, you can't be working for Sony and working for Warner at the same time. So these A&R guys, they get out there. They prey on the weak. They prey on the stupid. Let's just be honest with what it is. They come and they give them all these deals. I met a guy in Austin, Texas in 2014. He came up to me. He spent $35,000 in internet scams, and they came to the event. And he said, man, what advice could you give me? And I said, you should have came to me $35,000 ago. I could have really helped you then. I can't, you know?
Yeah, no doubt, right?
So the big scam is, there's a few of them. One is, we're going to get you radio airplay.
Right.
So pay us, we're going to get you radio airplay. So you guys pay them, they get no radio airplay. Or they say, oh, we did. And then you go and look, and there's nothing that happens. The second one is these A&R directors. The A&R guys, I'm an A&R director for all the major labels, which doesn't even make sense. All right? Because where's your loyalty to the company? And all it is to prey on your hopes, to prey on your dreams, and to then eventually get you to wire them $5,000. I actually know a story of a guy in our sort of Norfolk, Virginia. He sent like $7,000 to one of these A&R guys.
Wow.
Because they needed it for processing, travel, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Then they come back like a month later and they say, the label's not interested in you.
Yeah.
But if you want to pay me more money, I'll shop you to another label.
Yeah. That's all part of the scam, right?
It's all part of the scam. Because I know people at the label still, and these people don't work for them. But what happens is, and even in the acting world, you can go and, oh, you're a model. Well, here, I'm doing a model shoot. You go to some guy's, apartment. In Orange, California, it's a one-bedroom apartment. He's got candles and wine lit. This is supposed to be a modeling shot, Stuff. So it really comes down to doing your due diligence, and really making sure that my whole thing is, I tell artists all the time, don't give anybody any money unless they've got a job for you.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna pay somebody, I'm a publicist and my retainer is, $5,000 a month. Like, no, bullshit. Let me see what you can do first. I will pay you.
Exactly.
Here's a post-date check. I will pay you, but I'm not paying you until you put something out there. There's a big company out there today. They're a PR company. Their web ads are everywhere. They send out press releases. They don't even get into Google News because that's how little they have. Every artist is signing up with these fake record labels, these fake A&R guys. All of this stuff. It really comes down to, you got to ask yourself this question of, does this make sense? And a lot of times they don't care. Artists don't care because they're so driven by that achievement that they don't care. They're PayPal the money, they're sending out checks, they're doing whatever because they don't really want to work for it. They expect it to come easy because a lot of artists believe that talent is the driving force for your career, and talent is not. It's just like an A&R director is not a kingmaker, an A&R director is a traffic cop. You got to tell when people to come and go. You got to keep order.
Yeah.
An artist is not about talent. You got to have talent. That's important. But if you're not marketable, if you're not smart, if you're hard to work with, I can't tell you when I was working at labels how many artists' careers were tanked just because nobody liked working with them.
Right.
The minute Kanye West stops selling records, you're going to start seeing his label's not going to be working for that. If you're going to work with
I mean, but can we really hold the artists to blame when they're being shown on TV that if you're a cocky, arrogant, such and such type of portrayal that you're going to be the next big thing? I mean, is that really the artist's fault, or is that the music industry's fault?
One of the reasons why when I started the Mattress Minute, it was so uniquely with the music industry is because I was giving away the secrets. The music industry is very insecure. Nobody wants to give away their contacts, and nobody wants to give away their secrets because you're always worried about being replaced.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm the CEO of this effing company. Nobody can replace me, So what am I worried about? And I think it's a little bit of both because the music industry does not do enough to help teach artists. They tell you to go to college. Go to a music business school, spend $200,000 so you can have some professor who could never make it tell you what to do.
Right.
And the problem with music, and I did an event at Full Sail University, the music industry school, and I got asked to never come back. Like they literally asked me, "Don't you ever come back?" And I sat there and I told them, "You don't need this." Music business, the music industry, the art is not about you checking boxes and getting the right answer. That's why we're in the situation we're in today.
Exactly.
People didn't know how to take risks. But you need to learn how to be an innovator. You need to go and learn to do something. You got to help your fellow man. You got to contribute to the grand scheme of things.
Right.
The problem is, to answer your question, is I believe that's a little bit of both. I believe that it's the music industry's fault because they don't get the information out there. They don't know the villain killer. So they say, hey, you know what? This jackass is running around saying they're an A&R person. They don't. We don't even know who this person is. Don't give away your money. You see that happen with a ton of companies. The record labels just don't care. They're not even going to get in the weeds. Okay? So it is the music industry's fault because they're not doing enough to help educate, get out there to protect people because they don't give a damn at the end of the day.
Right.
The artist part is where their fault is that they just believe that if they put music out there that it's all going to come. They don't have to work hard. They don't have to be a good person. And that they can get their own reality show on E where they have, 7 mansions.
Yeah.
So it really is a mixture of both. The artists that I have met throughout the years, I can think of a few right now. They're the overachievers, the ones who walked the 3 hours. Not to come to me because we crap them up, but it was that determination and that grit that they were not, a car was not going to get in their way of them learning information.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, let me tell you, September in Orlando, Florida is hot. All right, like I'm just going to be honest with you. There's no cold front. All right,
yeah, no doubt, right?
And it was funny because one of the girls actually came to me that I traveled with. And she said, you're not going to believe this. And I was like, okay, what's up? And she said, the guy walked 3 hours to go see you today. And I was like, really? And does he smell? Do we need to give him some clothes? Do I need to give him a shirt? No,
I know, right? How about a bottle of water?
Yeah. They go, oh, no, he brought changing clothes because he knew he was going to sweat.
That's crazy. He was prepared, man. That's even more crazy. That was determination. Yeah, man.
Okay, a lot of artists, they talk a big game.
Yeah.
When it comes to, I like to say, I'm here for the artists who do versus the many who just talk.
Yeah.
One day I'm going to do this. One day, the artist who spends all the time recording music but doesn't do a damn thing to promote. The one artist who all they do is record music but then they never learn about the business of the industry. So
I know too many of them.
Yeah. The artist who, covers their ears when their eyes claims that Netflix, Spotify, and Apple Music give them a thing, but it's all about TV.
Yeah.
So I think it's because this technology thing is just going to go by the wayside. So when it comes to who's to blame, I think it's a little bit of both. I think that if artists actually stood up, they actually did their homework, they subscribed to stuff, they learned stuff. I think that then that would actually cause the big boys in the industry, the shrinking,
a force of change. Yeah, force of change. Yeah.
But as long as artists believe that I can go get I can go buy 1 million views on a YouTube video. I'm going to tell you this right now. I saw this guy, and it's my favorite genre of music, right? Classical music. I thought it was a jerk.
Here we go again.
Here we go. All right, and so I saw this. It was actually funny. My agent actually called me because we know who this jerk is. He's seriously one of the worst people in the world, and. He's got a Spotify account, right? He's got a Spotify profile. And one day it says that this no-name jerk who literally plays like village huts in like Africa or something, like he's just that pathetic. Okay? One day he went from like 96,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, which is like really good. I mean, 96,000 individual people listen to your shitty ass music, okay?
That's
and, okay? That's a huge number. I mean, like, there's somewhere, I mean, like, I got like 2,900 monthly listeners, and we're like high-fiving ourselves, you know?
Yeah. I got like, I think I got like 100, and I'm over here throwing a party, right?
Right. So this no-name asshole says he's got like 96,000 monthly listeners. Literally the next day, like after, you know, the month-long period or whatever, literally the next day, he drops to like 700.
Ouch.
Well, how do you go from 96,000 monthly listeners to 700 in a day?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
He bought his place.
Yeah.
He paid a website money to boost his place because he was either trying to impress somebody, he was trying to show that even if you're old, you can still be funky on the internet. I don't know what his deal was.
Well, you know, I've actually heard some people argue that it's nothing different than Wall Street. Do you understand what I mean by that? Where you make an investment and you get a return, especially for those who have their own distribution or, you know what I'm saying, don't have that middleman, taking out money and stuff. I mean, I don't know what the exchange is, but I'm saying like nowadays, people look at it as if it's a market. You understand?
It is marketing, but are you trying to deceive the market? Are you trying to deceive people by claiming you have 100,000 monthly plays that you know are all crap anyway?
Right.
Why don't you take that $1,000, invest it in Facebook ads, grow actually something? Because what's the point of putting out there? I mean, I had a guy the other day. He hit me up on Twitter. He said he has over 1 million views on his YouTube video. Guy has 187 followers on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I went back and I told him, I said, you spent a couple $100 to get 1 million views. And I know these aren't real numbers. And he goes, well, why is that? I said, that means every one of your followers on Twitter would have to watch your video 5,831 times.
Yeah.
I don't think that's good.
Well, I mean, no offense, my man. I mean, I can't speak for that individual, but I mean, I have a video that has like 40 some odd thousand plays, but that took me like months and months of day in and day out promoting it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, this guy's video's been up for 3 weeks. Okay.
Oh no, this thing's been out for like a year, man.
Okay, and the other thing is, I'm like, you have 1 million views, but you have 7 likes.
Yeah.
And so, if you're trying to impress the industry, they know all the gimmicks.
Yeah,
okay?
Right.
Why don't you take that money, invest it in promotion, go hit the streets and meet people, give out stickers, give out download cards of your music. Why don't you use it for Facebook ads or Google ads and actually grow something instead of sitting there trying to lie to me or lie to yourself and, I got 100,000 Spotify plays this month. No, you didn't. You bought 100,000 plays. And here's at the end of the day, here's the problem with all of it. Is that in a month that goes away.
Yeah. Yep.
So what did you actually do besides build a monument to your ego because you got to prove your relevance because you're on the short end of the life stick right now.
You know, and what I don't understand is like, so, there are those of us out here who like really try. So we bust our butts every day to try to either reach new people or give the core fans new content and stuff. And it seems as if this, easier, smarter route to catch any attention, when you say that your Spotify has, 100,000 or 50,000 or 200,000 or 1 million or whatever, people tend to be more receptive to paying attention. Whereas like in my case, I've got a song that's got 6,000. Well, how long's it been out? Man, it's been out like 2 years. Well, that's not a hot song, right?
Let me cut you off. Because I'm gonna change your career right now. We're gonna end the human suffering in your career right now.
Let's do it. Let's go.
And for all right, here we go. I went to Texas. I can't remember what city in Texas. They all had guns and cowboy hats. I'm not really sure what city it was. I can't remember. There was an artist, pop artist, female pop artist.
Okay.
And she came to me, and she came to the event. She played full out in the event. Because if you come to one of my events, it's not sitting there, you take a note. Like, you're going to get on the chair screaming. I don't care. And I always find the one asshole in the crowd. He's too cool, and I make an example out of him first.
Yeah,
you know?
right. Yeah,
We get going that way. It's a lot of fun. And it's always fun because at the events that start off with the guys in there, you can always find the roughest, toughest guy. Yeah. And I always break him down first. Yeah. And, he starts off like pissed and annoyed that he's here. And at the end of it, the guy's like jumping out of his chair thinking this is the most amazing thing in the world. This artist comes to me. She plays full out in the event. Wonderful person. Yeah. And she goes, what can I do to build my career? I said, let me tell you. You need to sit on Twitter especially, because that's the one where you can really interact with people.
Yes,
Twitter's kind of a wasteland these days, but if you do it properly, it's still very effective.
Exactly.
I said the average American watches TV 6 hours a day. Make it 5 hours a day. Okay, the Big Bang Theory can wait, all right? Make it 5 hours a day. Spend an hour every day building relationships with people.
Yep.
Building relationships. So you send them a message. You let them know how, hey, what's going on? This Twism, I'm from Canada. It's almost June here, and I'm still freezing my ass off. Like, how you doing?
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, people are going to respond, especially if they realize it's not automated. If it's an automated message, you've already lost it. Okay? Because you don't have time to devote your career, then I don't have time to check out your music.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
So what she did was that she got on this mission, and it was, people are like, oh, it's so, it's so simple. I'm like, yeah, but you still don't apply it. So it's obviously not that simple, because if it was simple, you would have already mastered it.
Right.
And this is what I did in 2014. This is my secret in 2014. I literally just spent time talking to people, like I did with how you and I are speaking, friends.
Yeah.
I'd send a message. I'd wait for it to get replied. I replied, and they said, "Well, I couldn't believe you actually replied." Darren Lang, the lovely.
Don't say that out loud.
She goes, I sent her a message, and she was like, I was shocked when I found out that it was actually you and not one of your people.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? And she was like, because, I didn't know if it was one of your handlers or if it was automated. And I was like, no, it's my account, it's my brand. I'm going to take ownership of it. I have people who do other stuff for me. But when it comes to me actually interacting with people, that's my job, because nobody's going to sell my brand better than me.
Yeah.
So this girl back in Texas, we give her the mission. We give her the plan. You spend an hour every day sending messages. No links. You're not telling anybody anything. What you're going to do is you're just going to ask them how they're feeling. Look at their bio. See what city they're in. Find something. If they're from Cleveland, you could be like, oh, LeBron sucks. And they'll be like, well, I know LeBron's awesome, or whatever. Yeah. Start the relationship that way.
Right.
The ping pong. The best relationships in life are pitch and catch. When I throw it at you, you throw it back to me just as fast and as hard.
Right, exactly.
So what happened was, I said, after you've had a conversation, keep going 3-4 messages in. Ask them where they listen to music at. If it's SoundCloud, you send them a SoundCloud link. If it's Spotify, you send them a Spotify link.
Right.
Whatever it is. She did this all summer long. Twitter followers went from like 2,000 to 3,000. She built her Twitter followers. It doesn't buy anything.
Yeah.
Went from 2,000 to 3,000 over the summer, went up to 100,000. Her Spotify plays, some of the songs she's got today are still at 300,000-400,000. She never paid a dime for any of it.
Yeah.
So what happened was that she built a personal connection with the audience, with her audience online. They didn't give a crap how many plays there were. Because what happened? You got a girl in Olathe, Kansas, who just said, hey, this artist just came to me, and she's talking to me. And everybody wants to feel like they're a part of something bigger. And so what happened was that the personal connection was the thing that was the driving force. And those people didn't care about the numbers. And today she's still doing it. She's smart. She doesn't want a record deal. She's making enough money on streams and all this stuff on her own.
Yeah.
She started by building the connections. So for you to sit here and say, well, I got 6,000 plays, well, great. You got 6,000 people who've actually listened to the song. Now what it's time for you to do is to end your suffering. Is you go out there and you start sharing your experience, sharing your passion, sharing your love with the people on your Twitter list. Don't send out mass messages. I mean, you can't.
No. And you know what? One of the actual marketing things that I have, actually it's been a gruesome lesson was the interaction. I was listening to a podcast just a little while ago, really great podcast that was explaining a new formula that's coming out. It's a new app, and what it does is it analyzes social media interaction of artists and brands and businesses, and then it relays the information to people like A&Rs and Sony and things like this. And what it does is it gives them a rating, a scale of exactly their interaction level, how the fans respond, how many leads they recovered off of just that one interactive post, and so on and so forth. But when you're talking about trying to you've got, let's say you've got like 20,000 followers, right? And you're trying to interact with it each personally. Not only is that time consuming, but, it can be a little aggravating. Yes? No?
Well, what's more important?
Well, no, I understand. No, obviously, no. I'm saying, though, but you have to, keep your mind motivated, keep yourself staying strong, find new stuff to talk to them about. You know what I mean? Like, what?
Well, sir, look, here, at the end of the day, if you send me a message and you're like, hey, Matt, how's it going? I'm like, good. And I click reply. And my response to you is good. I'm probably telling you right then and there, I'm not really interested in keeping a relationship going.
Yeah, right.
It's an old marketing trick of anytime you send a message, always end it with a question that they have to respond to.
Right.
Yeah, so tell me, it's like, hey, what are you watching these days on TV? I love shows. The problem is that, and if they keep responding, you got them hooked.
Yeah, exactly. And then you keep the conversation going.
You keep the conversation going, and by the time that they have decided that, this is a really cool person, I like him, whatever, he's got beautiful kids, he's got beautiful wife, I really want to interact with this person, they're going to do anything you want anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Say, hey, man, would you listen to my song? And here's the best part. When you build a personal relationship with people, you don't have to ask them to retweet it for you. They're going to do it anyways, because as a friend, don't you take care of your friend?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I've had the honor and privilege of working with hundreds of thousands of people around the world. And I don't remember everybody's name, but I remember their stories. And these people come up to me, because I'm going back out to the same cities I did a couple of years ago. And
right.
You go out and you talk to these people, and they'll tell you how they remember what you said to them in 2014. And I'm like, yeah, I remember that. I'll tell you what shirt you were wearing, because I don't forget to say, And like, I can't believe I'm like, yeah, you look pretty stupid with that shirt on,
Stop lying. Stop lying. It's called a photographic memory.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll go with that. Okay. And I can't remember your name, but I remember, the goofy ass shirt you were wearing.
Yeah.
And,
right.
And it just goes back to, people want to feel valued. It drives me insane when an artist will hit me up on Twitter. I have no clue who they are. They just followed me, and I get some random direct message where they're telling me, retweet my music. I don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
You have not earned that right. And I think that's how everybody is. But the thing is that we're moving so fast. We're trying to get as much coverage as possible. We're trying to go global before we've even done local.
Right.
And you expect people are just, I'm the only artist that has hit them up today, so they're going to be just so impressed. I sent them some mass spam message telling them to tweet out my music.
Yeah, right.
Research even shows that if you're a subscriber of Spotify and somebody sends you a link, that there's a 7 in 10 chance they're actually going to listen to it.
Really?
Because it doesn't cost them anything. Yeah, because it doesn't cost them anything. They pay $9.99 a month or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're asking artists to spend $1 on iTunes to buy my single. I'm like, I don't even know who you are. Why would I spend all this? Why would I spend $1 when I don't even know who you are?
Yeah.
So it goes back down to the personal relationship. If you don't have time, then you don't have time to be an artist. If you start a business and you don't have time to grow that business, anything in life, anything in life.
Yep.
If you're not growing, you're dying. I don't care if it's your business, your finances, your relationship. your kids. They're not growing, they're dying.
Yep.
All right?
Yep.
You want your kids to grow. You know, like you just want to. And I think that so many times and so many people in our lives, we get to a point where, you know, if you were training to be a star basketball player, Michael Jordan, great example.
Right.
Did Michael Jordan make excuses when he was growing up to practice? No. He was committed to go out there and do it and to be the best.
Every day.
This is the guy who won 3 championships, took some time off to go flirt with baseball, came back and won 3 more championships.
Exactly.
Because he was committed to his art. And the problem is that most artists are committed to their partying, to their ego, their image, sex. They're not committed to their art. The art is a byproduct of all of that stuff. That's why they don't get the results that they want. And also the other problem is that they don't live in a place of gratefulness. You know, they got their own suffering in their life, and they still live in a place of gratefulness. So, like, if I'm God, and I come down and I talk to one of my creators, and I say, hey, how do you like it? And the person says, you know,
it's
God,
miserable.
why do you have to make it so hot?
Right.
I'm sweating my ass off out here, you know, like it's so humid. And then I got to deal with all these idiots. They're so stupid. They're bumping into me. They're always on their damn phones. I almost got hit by a cab because, you know, the guy was texting me driving. And they got these fire ants, and they're biting my ass, you know, and it's stuck. And I got, you know, I was supposed to fly on a plane the other day, but it was foggy, and my plane got grounded. God, why don't you do something about that?
Right,
If you're God, do you want to hang out with that person?
No way, man. I'd be like, yo, I'm good. I'll see you later.
Right. But think about it, if you're God, you come down and you go, man, what do you think of this creation? You know, God, like this weather, it's awesome. I mean, like I get 4 seasons. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I get 4 seasons every day. I mean, swear to God, one day it was 81 degrees. Swear to God. Early morning, it was 81 degrees a few weeks ago. By night, it was 39 degrees. All right? Like, I swear. I mean, like, we were getting snow, and we had summer weather. God, you know, like this weather, I get like 4 different seasons a day. You know, I got to deal with all these people that I can learn from and grow, and I can contribute, and they can contribute to me, and I get to learn their stories so I can better my life and better the lives of other people. And these fire ants, I mean, these things are, you know, I'm 10,000 times their size, and they got the bravest to, like, bite my ass. Like, that's pretty cool, don't you think, guys? If you're God, which person do you all feel around? The person who's in suffering or the person who's grateful?
The person who actually showed me that I wanted to pay attention to what they were saying.
Well, but think about it. If people always tell me, like, oh, I don't feel too close to God or the Creator or infinite energy or whatever you believe in.
Yeah.
I said, maybe you don't feel close to God because you're too busy bitching and whining all the time, and you don't have any moments to be grateful for what's going on. But if you're an artist, and everything is about you bitching and moaning, does the fan want to listen to you? Do they want to? And I mean, they got their own problems, and here you are bitching about your problem.
Yeah.
If you live in a place of gratefulness, if you live in a place where you want to end suffering, then you're not going to be, you know, delivering your misery to everybody else.
Right. Well, you know, some people just always live in a state of misery. Isn't that why, you know, what was that music during the 90s? Korn, and not Korn, but what was it, Nirvana and all that? Isn't that why that music succeeded? Some people just want to be like that, though.
Look, I know people today who are on antidepressants who are still depressed.
Yeah. If you ask any one of my 8 therapists, they'll all tell you the same thing too.
Well, because I mean, right? I mean, like therapy, you know, like I mean, people. If you wake up in the morning and you decide what person you're going to be.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning and you decide if you're going to be loving, you're going to contribute, you're going to make a difference.
Right.
Yeah, happy. You make that decision.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like I said, I know people who are on antidepressants, they're more miserable today than they were before they got on the damn thing.
Exactly. You know, my wife has a philosophy that you speak or you breathe into existence your feelings, right?
Right. I mean, do you need a reason to be upset?
Not nowadays, no.
Do you need a reason to call somebody and just, you know, I know this is going to be weird, but I need to complain to you real quick about this person. Is somebody going to act like you're weird for doing that?
I mean, if they're a friend, no.
Right, because people are always looking for misery. Misery loves company. You know that.
Right.
You ever met somebody and you're like, hey, what's wrong with you? And they're, I just woke up. And what do you say? I understand.
Yeah.
But if somebody's living in a peak state, if they're loving life and everything that goes on, they're like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm so happy to be alive. They're going to put that guy in a loony bin.
Exactly.
Because we've forgotten what depth is. We've forgotten what it means to go for it. When people sit and tell me about their Facebook friends, I'm like, oh, baby, you got a problem. Nothing wrong with Facebook. Some of our friends are really there. But we've forgotten what it means to go deep. We've forgotten what it means to have a connection with somebody, to be able to feel, to touch them.
Yeah.
We've forgotten what it means to be honorable. I get wildly uncomfortable these days when I hear people, when I see all these reality TV shows out there that talk about that, the purpose of your life is to have a Lamborghini and 10 mansions.
Right.
Because I believe that in some ways we're going back to this era. When I buy a company, I don't do contracts. I do handshake deals, because if I shake your hand, that's better than any contract.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure.
I'm going to honor my part. You're going to honor yours.
Exactly.
And that's how we do it. When we watch these reality shows today, and it gets ingrained. I mean, The Voice and American Idol and all this stuff. I hate all the shows. Because what it shows you is two things. One, it shows you if you want to get your 15 minutes famous, go and be the biggest freak show you possibly can be.
Yeah, right.
Or on the other hand, success comes by you just auditioning. And you're not putting any effort into it. Just go stand in line like it's bread line Mondays in Russia.
Yeah.
And then we model ourselves after the Kardashians, who've done nothing to contribute to society.
And you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because you know what? In today's society, and especially, you know what? I have to speak from a personal point of view here, but as a father of 5 kids who are all with the same mother, married, 17 years, it aggravates me beyond belief to see TV shows like Keeping Up with the Kardashians and things like this, when in reality or in retrospect, there are people out there, and I'm going to use this as an example just because I know everybody knows him, but Akon is my personal icon, so to speak, because he took his success and he went to Africa and he changed lives. And that is something that, my kids ask me, well, what would be the first thing that you would do if you got all this money and you became a big success? Well, the first thing I would do, I would build a housing shelter for women and children in Lafayette, Indiana, because they have absolutely no setup there. People are going to be like, what's Lafayette, Indiana? What is this? But to me, that's a personal goal, because I want to be like somebody that I've seen, Akon, not like somebody that, Kardashians or Kanye or any of these other individuals in life who may be salting the earth right now.
Well, the problem is that artists and people in general, you watch trash the shows, and that's what they are. They're trash shows.
Exactly.
They're I like to call them on-time porn, and they give you this false sense of work. They give you this false sense of what fame is.
Yeah.
I believe the American dream is not about Lamborghinis and mansions.
Right.
I believe that in some ways it's going back to the 1950s. Because if you watch movies from the 1950s, they were they're on a cruise ship and they're wearing a suit, and it's very proper, gentleman.
Classy, quality, yes.
And I know that, especially if you come to an event, I get more dressed up than pretty much anybody at the place, and I realize that I feel like we've kind of gotten a little too casual at times.
Yeah.
And I hate when I go to my bank and it's Casual Tuesday. I kind of want my banker to dress up. And but I believe the American dream is going back to that 1950s, where it's not about Lamborghinis and mansions. I believe that it's about working your butt off, shaking
innocence,
somebody's hand and meaning something.
Purity.
It's Sunday dinners with your family.
Yep.
It's minimal credit card debt.
Yep.
It's the house with the white picket fence. It's your
priorities.
College. Why does it have to be any more difficult than that?
Yep.
Because we make it and we're going after stuff instead of text.
Yep.
And you know, I go into these cities and I talk to these artists, and artists will tell you straight up. I've met artists who don't. I don't care if I make any money. I just want to be famous.
Yeah.
And I always tell them, well, I mean, I can solve that problem for you real quick. But go rob a bunch of liquor stores. Your face will be all over.
Oh my God, man. That is not very motivational, you know, commenting on your part, though.
But it's the truth. I mean, but you just want to be famous? Go rob liquor stores. No. I mean, your face will be everywhere if that's what you want.
I don't know.
Because you're not going to serve a purpose. You're not going to serve a purpose anyway.
I can't understand people like that.
Well, because what it is that it's why you see an artist post music and somebody says you suck, and then they spend the next 7 weeks regarding that person.
Yeah.
Or trash talking that person. Because at the end of the day, you're doing it for your ego. You're not doing it for any other reason. No. And so what I do is when I go in and I talk to artists, or if I get the call to go work with a signed artist at a label, is I got to strip them of all of that. I got to strip them of the lies they tell themselves. I got to strip them of the lies that the only thing that matters in my life is music, or the only thing that matters in my life is producing. Yeah. And you got to strip all that away. And you got to basically tell them that, look, working your butt off means nothing if you have nobody to come home to.
I guess, go ahead.
The purpose of all of this isn't for you to gather stuff. You know, when people say money can't buy you happiness, I always tell them you don't know where to shop.
Yeah, right? No doubt.
Because it's not about actually the money, it's about the experience. Invest in experience, invest in people, don't invest in things. Because when you invest in things, you're going to always be trying to keep up with all the new latest gadgets. That's why one of the things
and fashions.
I don't invest in technology companies. I never buy technology companies. And the reason for me is it moves too quickly.
Right.
I don't like things that have an on and off switch. Okay, I don't like something that can be rebooted. Not because I think that somebody's going to screw me over, because I think they don't even know what they're talking about, because it's moving too quickly. And these days, everything is moving too quickly.
Yeah.
You know, we have artists who literally today, unlike any other time in our world, you could be an artist in Cincinnati, Ohio, put a song up on SoundCloud. If you do it the right way, you can have people around the world.
Yeah, for sure.
Listening to your music.
Yeah,
that wasn't happening 20 years ago. When I started working 21 years ago at Jive Records, you had to dominate Cincinnati, and then you went to Columbus, and you went to Indianapolis. And that way, it hoped you got the attention of a record label.
Right.
And see, today, everybody thinks if I just throw my music up online, that A&R guys are just sitting there all day long refreshing SoundCloud, waiting for the new thing that gets posted.
Yeah.
Record labels are going broke today. Okay, they don't have the money. So if they're going to sign an artist, it has to be almost damn near perfect of an investment, because that's what a record label is. They're putting an investment into an artist's career. They don't want to hear your talk. They want to see your numbers.
Right.
They want to see what your Spotify plays on. They want to see what your interaction is online. They want to see what people are saying. They want to hear what the local radio DJs are saying in town, what the local promoters are saying. Are people talking about you? Right. You know, that's why we go back to the million views on YouTube. If you got 1 million views on a video that's been around for 3 weeks, or you're some crappy classical conductor and you got 96,000 plays on Spotify, and nobody's talking about you, then,
something wrong.
Okay, two things have happened. You either have bought your place because you're that lame and pathetic.
Yeah.
Or you did something which drove people to your page, and then they didn't want to further the relationship. So which one is actually worse? Which one's worse?
I personally, I would say the second one personally.
Right. Absolutely. Artists will tell me all the time, I got 300,000, followers on Twitter. I go, yeah, but you got one retweet of your thing.
Right. Yeah.
So either you just wasted your money and you're trying to scam me and tell me that you're a lot bigger than you are, or 300,000 people have collectively decided you suck.
Yeah, right. And if that's the case, then nobody's taking you, right?
Which one do you want to be truthful about here? And then they always come back and go, yeah, I bought my followers. I don't suck. I bought my followers. I'm like, yeah. How many followers did you buy out of 300,000? 300,000. We're like, okay, so you got about 8 people who are actually real on your Twitter account, and one of them is your mama.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no doubt. Well, I mean, I guess people who would be, uncomfortable with themselves or the product of their thing may, that's fine. But I guess to lose that core fan or that one fan that would go out and retweet or that would talk about, I feel like that's priceless. There's not a value on that one person. I have a couple of people in my life who without them, I would feel like less than a man, because I've had them for so long and I've done such a great job at entertaining them and maintaining that friendship, that if I was to lose it now, I would feel like, I just totally messed up everything. You know what I mean?
Right. I see, that's because you're a well-balanced person.
No, man, I'm going to tell you the truth. I am probably one of the most unbalanced, but I have a dream, and it is to see that these kids succeed in life. And you know what? I'm that guy that's walking 3 hours to make sure that these children never have to go through what I went through. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's my purpose, right? Yeah.
Don't cut yourself short, man. You are a balanced person because
I'm humble. How about that?
There's a purpose and a drive there. There's a reason for why you're doing this besides you just trying to be the man.
No,
that's
man.
balance right there. I mean, you're working, one day you're going to come home and you're going to tell your kids, I worked my butt off. I was blessed, but I worked my ass off for this.
Yeah, man.
You got to show them what hard work is.
Oh, they see it every day, man.
I know there's schools, like high schools and stuff like that, but they play the Magic Smith in the class.
Wow, really?
All that stuff. Yeah, it's like I get to be like the principal of like the world's largest school. It's a really cool thing.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Jealousy on 100 right now.
Yeah, I mean, but that is, for me, it's about those things. It's about this purpose is not about how many companies I can name after myself.
Right.
This is not about how many people can stand in line or how. Okay, so we got somebody walk 3 hours. Let's get somebody to walk 4 hours. That's not about.
No doubt, right? Yeah.
I told you earlier, my birthday was yesterday, and I've been asked by people, well, what kind of gifts did you get? You got some really cool friends. Like, what did they get you? And I'm like, I don't accept gifts.
Yeah.
I hate gifts, actually. Yeah. And the reason being is because, if you were to give me an Apple Watch, per se, it makes me wildly uncomfortable.
Yeah, because now I feel obligated, right?
Well, now I got to now I got to figure out, well, what do I get you now?
Yeah, exactly, right?
One of my dearest friends, he gave me a 4-pack of Red Bull. And I'm a Red Bull drinker, okay? Like, we all got a crutch. I'm a Red Bull guy, okay? And that was the most meaningful gift you could give me, because he knows, this guy drinks Red Bull, he's like trying to be all peak performance and he drinks Red Bull.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I would rather spend time with you than receive your gifts.
Yeah. Yep.
And so for me, I get wildly uncomfortable with gifts.
I guess you say wildly uncomfortable. It almost as if it's a sense of something over your head, right? I know we said the word obligated, but I guess it kind of makes me feel like as if, especially when you talk about stuff like an Apple Watch and don't nobody be buying me an Apple Watch. You're liable to get like a watch made out of 2 broken shoelaces and a timepiece, because I'm not built like that, and I'm not trying to have to be, hawking and selling my entire life just to reciprocate to you the value, you know what I mean, of what you're trying to show me. Can't we just go grab a cup of coffee or something? You know what I mean?
But that goes back to the depth. We've forgotten how to be people.
Yeah, right.
We are so occupied in achieving stuff and achieving status, that we have forgotten what it means to actually just be a member of your community.
Yeah.
And your community doesn't just have to, right? You know, that's one of the reasons why I do events. Like, everybody's like, oh, why don't you do webinars? That's terrible. Because I'm trying to get people off the computer.
Yeah, exercise a little bit.
I need them to get in front of me.
Yeah.
And the reason being is not because I'm that great, but you know what? We got artists today who have never played a show in their lives. They have never even thought about playing a show.
Really?
Because they're not paying. Oh, yeah, man, because they don't pay enough.
Oh, my gosh.
They believe that, they believe their first show out should be a $1,000 payday.
Oh, come on. I'm doing everything. I'm doing everything, right?
But there's the balance right there. There's the balance.
I did a charity event for Sick Kids Hospital, man. I did a charity event for Sick Kids Hospital. Everybody was, yeah. Well, I thought it was, but everybody was kind of like, yo, that's kind of not really what you should be doing. If you want to make your name such and such. And I was like, you know what? I did it because I thought I was being a part of something. And to me, to be able to say I was a part of that event means more than any amount of money you could have gave me. You know what I mean?
My entire life has been made up of people telling me what they think is best for my career. Right. If you do this, then maybe this will happen. A perfect example, I'm going to be, here's Matthew Rix completely unplugged for you right now.
Uh-oh.
It's actually, here we go, send up a tweet, here we go. Last week, this actually happened within, because, I have a wonderful team across the board.
Yeah, man.
And we got different factions of that team, we got these people, we got the more professional people, we got the people who, they've gotten, I'll tell you, in 2014, we did a run in November because why not, right? So we go to Minneapolis, Minnesota, Indianapolis, and then New Orleans. So we got freezing ass cold, and we're going down to the, Cajun City, right?
Yeah.
And our flight from Minneapolis to Indianapolis got canceled.
Oh, no.
It was like, United was just like, sorry, we're not going to, fly today apparently or something.
Oh, that sucks.
We had to do the event, drive overnight in the snow. We're all a bunch of people from South or California. We don't know how to drive in the snow.
Yeah, right.
From Minneapolis to Indianapolis. We got in at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon because of the road conditions.
Yeah.
Set up to do an event that night. We got done at like 1 o'clock in the morning. We were back at the airport at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Catch a flight down to New Orleans.
Wow.
And so I have this wonderful team. They're totally selfless. And this is just some of the crap I put them through over the years. I remember that weekend. I think we got a grand total of like 7-8 hours of sleep before the 3-day run was over. All right. And we all went out to dinner afterwards because my thing is like, after a run, we all go out to eat. We kind of decompress everything, and we kind of talk about what worked, what didn't work. Because I'm not one of these people who goes, "This is the event, and this is the way it is." We're always growing, we're always changing. And that night in New Orleans, like everybody just looked like they were zombies, including myself, and voice is shot. Nobody wants to talk. Everybody's pissed at each other because nobody has slept, And so last week,
man, it reminds me of so much, man.
People think I have a glamorous life, and like here we are, like in a Toyota Corolla driving in the snow. It's like,
man, but that's what makes it awesome. That's what makes it awesome.
Some of the best memories I have are not Grammys or award shows.
Exactly.
The best memories is being stranded at an airport in Reno, Nevada, of all places, which is a place to be stranded in an airport. But
I got one for you.
Last week we had a situation, and one of the people on the team suggested, well, maybe he should bring out the gold records to the event. Yeah. Bring out the gold records to the event so that artists can see it.
Yeah.
And I said, what the crap do these artists care about? Some rock band from 10 years ago went gold. Like, how does that do for their career?
What?
They're like, we could bring validity, or they could take pictures with it and all this stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm like, look,
that's so cool, though.
My whole thing has always been, I don't turn this into a circus act. And I'm not going to do anything to pry at your emotion.
Yeah, man, I can understand.
You could get one of these. Because you're never going to get a gold record.
Yeah,
Nobody's ever going to get a gold record again. Unless you're Taylor Swift, you're never going to get a gold record again. Because the way that the recording industry has set up the standard for gold records.
Right.
So what they judge now is based because everything is streaming. it's a lot
you can
different.
make gold in a day, right? Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right. Where you have to use to sell 500,000 copies of an album to go gold, you now have to stream 50 million times from that album to go gold. So gold records are going to become a thing of a past until they change that.
Right.
I said, look, I don't go to cities to put on a circus act. I go in there, give them the information, to deliver to them what they need in their careers, and to build from that. It's not about taking pictures with gold records. You want to take a picture of gold records, go to a freaking museum.
Right.
This thing's about more depth than that.
No.
So I tell you
substance
that because
substance.
It's about that. It's like I'm not going for, because everything in our lives are going for the quick fix.
Right.
Everything. You can eat pizza every single day of your life, but if you take this one pill, you're going to die.
I wish.
Bullshit. If you got a problem in your life, take a pill. If you're mad at your wife, get a new one. If you hate your kids, go get some new ones. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're always looking for the quick fix. We do not have the substance anymore.
I've had the wrong idea, I guess. I've been listening to you the whole time. I've got the wrong idea. I thought, you're sitting here talking about, go get new kids, go get new wives, things like that. Like, that just cracks me up because you have you're saying it, kind of offhand, jokingly, but in today's world, that is so much of a reality that it's frustrating because, I've been with my wife 17 years. There are moments where I've been like, yo, you know what? I just wish I could switch you out for a new model. But would I go and do that? Would I act upon that? No. But you see these others that have no resilience, no backbone. You know what I mean?
No, because when times get tough, they flee.
Yeah, exactly. And where did we lose that? Where did we lose the ability to stand up and fight and start doing this whole run away and talk behind, closed doors or video phones or... I just don't understand how we lost that part of us. When we stopped dealing with
ourselves.
Hiding from ourselves.
It goes back to what I talked about earlier. The person who's given up on love because a few years ago they got burned in a relationship. We don't want to deal with stuff.
Yeah.
So we're gonna medicate ourselves with sex, with drinking, with drugs, with whatever, gambling, working our asses off, whatever it is, because we're just trying to avoid actually, being honest with ourselves. I know a person today who will tell you that they are the most honorable person in the world, and the way that they treat their employees is unique. It's garbage is an accomplishment. That's a good. If you said that you treat your employees like garbage, that's actually like an exaggeration on how well they treat them, because they treat their employees like absolute, just like mop bucket assistants. Really? They travel in business. They stay in these $1,000 hotel rooms. They make the assistants sleep on couches. They berate them. They refuse to pay them. They do all of this stuff. But they'll sit there and tell you and look at you in the face and tell you they're an honorable business person. Yeah, because they live in, and when I talk to these artists at events, and they tell me all this stuff, I go, okay, well, your first problem we have to work on is you're delusional. Then we can get to the artist actually problem with your career. Right. But the problem is, seriously, man, you got a problem. You've been burned in love. What do? You spend the next couple of years of your life just running from in and out of empty relationships. Rebound. Medicating with alcohol and drugs. Telling yourself these wonderful lies that you believe, but nobody else believes are bullshit. And what happens is that we get to a point where we have just forgotten we forgot what it means to take care of ourselves. When you fly on a plane, I think this comes down to this, where the problem is, there's a disconnect, all of this stuff. If you're flying on a plane, they're going over the instructions. The oxygen mask drops. They tell you to put it on your kid first, right? Before they put it on you. Right. No. They say to put it on yourself. Put the oxygen mask on yourself before you help your kid. Why would you do that? We love our kids. We love the person next to us. It's an elderly person. If it's a kid, don't you want to put the mask on them first before you take care of yourself, you selfish prick?
Yeah, Right.
Why do they do that? Because
I have no idea.
Because you got to take care of yourself before you can help others.
I mean,
and what we've forgotten is that we got to take care of ourselves. We got to make sure. Look, as a father, if you are not healthy, if you are not balanced, if you are not driven, how are you going to teach your kids any of those qualities?
Yeah, for sure. I totally understand. Totally. But I guess in a life or death situation, though, I gotta be honest with you, my man. I'd still choose my kid. You know what I mean? Just because I'd rather my child live than I. You know what I mean?
Well, right. But you've got to remember that in order for them to live, I mean, if you black out putting the oxygen mask on them, you're both dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, man.
So what purpose did you just serve?
As hard as it is to accept it and bite down on that, I mean, you know, yeah. I still know what my inner human self would do, though. I mean, as logical as I am.
Yeah. We all want to take care of our kids. We all want to take care of those
close to us, right?
Help themselves. Yeah.
Right.
If you don't take care of yourself, you can't help them. And the problem is that people don't take care of themselves.
Yeah.
They don't deal with their stuff. They don't deal with their lack. Because anything that happens in our life, you know, the reason why I'm the person I am today is because I watched really bad people take advantage of a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of people in my life in this music industry destroy people, abuse them, take them for granted, take advantage of them. And I made a different decision. Everything in our life, if we're healthy and we're honest with ourselves, we can change the world. Well, it's I had a situation that presented itself just recently. A dear friend of mine got kind of tangled up in something, and it was look at this, but this is really what's going on. And when it all unraveled, it was everything you've said has been a complete lie.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
And where most people turn their back, I said, you know what? I need grace in my life because I screw up a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to extend you the grace. Not because I'm awesome, but because I know that tomorrow I'm going to have to go before somebody and say, look, I'm sorry as well.
Yeah, no doubt, right? No doubt.
And
no doubt.
But we don't even take enough interest in people these days to even know if they need it. If they need our grace, if they need the things, if they are craving the things in their life that we have, because we don't take enough time for that. And so what I do is with artists is I try to get to the point where they really are able to feel the need of people and go out there and everybody wants to write a song that changes the world.
I try.
First, you have to know what the world is going through in order to change it with your song.
Yeah, right.
And how do you know what the world's going through if you never take time to understand, to value, to make a commitment, no matter how difficult it can be at times, and you honor that commitment. You shake somebody's hand and you say that this is my word and it's as good as gold, and actually live up to that. People tell me all the time, well, I'd rather do a contract with you. I'm like, why? Because let me tell you, in a recording contract, there's going to be on a typical recording contract that's 50 pages, there's going to be 3 or 4 pages of clauses that can get me out of this deal.
Yeah, right.
There's no clauses to get you out of the deal, though.
Yeah.
So if I shake your hand and we send an email to each other to follow up, this is what we agreed on, I guess it's legally binding, but I don't have a plan. I've never been sued, and I've never sued anybody.
I mean, but if you carry your business correctly, you wouldn't be, right? I mean, if you carry yourself appropriately, then nobody's going to say or do anything bad about you. You know what, though? I can't say that. There are some people out there who are just hateful and spiteful, man.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I bought a business. And wrote the check, it cleared, we shook hands, followed up an email. A couple months later, they come back around. They said, "I don't know who you are."
Wow. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
And I responded, I was like, we shook hands.
Yeah.
We shook hands. And, I got people in my life who are like, they don't care about the handshake, dude. It's not the 40s anymore. I'm like, yeah, but it should be, shouldn't it? And so I try to get artists back to, if you want to talk about eliminating human suffering, it's when you can trust again. Not only trust your fellow man, but trust yourself, because most people can't trust themselves.
Yeah.
They can't trust themselves to make accurate decisions. That's why they say, you know, one minute they're in love with this person, the next minute they're in love with this person because one of their friends said, "Oh, you shouldn't date that person," and they made a switch. Or they are 1 minute committed to music, but the next minute they're committed to, you know, being a chef. Because somebody told them, "Oh, well, you know, it's really hard to make it in the music industry," and it is, especially if you don't know what you're doing. It's almost impossible for you to make it. Yeah,
right. Unless you take the time to learn.
Unless you take the time to learn, which most of them don't.
Right. Well, that's true.
They'd rather sit there and go, "Oh, well, Kanye is acting like this, so I'm going to act like this now."
Right. Exactly.
Because he can do it, I can do it. You know, I'll tell you, and I'll close with this.
Yeah, I was going to say we're going to start wrapping up.
Did an event in Burbank in August. 3 days before, guy bought a ticket, all this stuff. Wife emailed my team, let us know that he's not going to be coming. We ask if everything's all right. She notifies us that for years this guy had been listening to the Matrix Minutes.
Right.
And she said he followed everything that you said down to the letter.
Really?
Except for when it came to beefing with other artists.
Oh, okay.
So I talked about that. Got into some Twitter fight with some other rapper. I'm the baddest. No, you're bullshit. No, fuck you. You know, whatever.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Out at a grocery store, picking up groceries. Ran into his arch nemesis online, whatever, a fellow rapper. Guy put 2 in his head.
Wow.
Guy who was murdered. Behind a wife and a kid. The guy who did the murdering is going to go to jail for the rest of his life because there was an execution.
Yeah.
Both of them believed that they were being honorable and true to their art.
Yeah.
And that their fake ego and the things that they thought mattered were more important than anything else.
That's
one person
crazy.
Lost their life, the other person can sit in jail. And I did the Burbank
in a sense, lost their life too, right? Yeah.
Right. I mean, this kid now is going to grow up with, without a father, all because of some stupid song.
Yeah.
And I say it's a stupid song because at the end of the day, it goes back to if your life is not about contributing, if your life is not about changing the world and making a difference, if your life is about your ego and everything that you can do to build your monument to your ego better, then it's really just selfish and pointless life. And I did the Burbank event, and we had a chair. We kept it open for them. I tell that story now in every city. Because at the end of the day, if that was a fulfilled person, if that was a person who had a bigger mission in his life than just his art, he would have never gotten into the weeds to be distant. He would have never gotten into the place of that he felt like he had to defend himself against somebody else.
Yeah.
Somebody tells you suck, you let it slide, you move on.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit here and prove anything to anybody.
Yep.
And Twism, I'm going to tell you, I have a massive amount of respect for you as a person, as an artist, as a radio host. As I told you at the start of the call, I love everybody, but I don't respect a lot of people. I respect you.
I appreciate that, man. I don't know what to say to that. I appreciate that, man. Know that the feeling is mutual. Know that the feeling is mutual.
Well, we're all on this journey together of life.
Yeah, man.
And it's sometimes in life we get to be the students, and sometimes we get to be the teachers.
Yeah, man. You know what? I tell you what. At this moment, I could go for either one because either one's a learning lesson, right?
Absolutely.
Hey, real quick though, man, before we do wrap this thing up, man, I wanted to give you a chance to tell people about your events, upcoming events, and different things like that.
Well, we're gonna get Twism out there to dance at one.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, for sure.
We're gonna get you out there. We're gonna get you. You can sing the Canadian national anthem.
I gotta learn it first. I know the American one by heart. Can I do that one? I'm American, so everybody thinks that just because I live in Canada that I know anything about Canada. And I'm going to be like so totally honest with you. I'm probably one of the most ignorant Americanadians you will ever meet. Okay?
So you're like an American, basically.
I am an American. I'm from Indianapolis, man. Yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean,
yeah, I was born in Arizona, but I moved here to Canada from Indianapolis, Indiana, after a drive-by, man. So yeah, it's kind of a long story there, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about when you was talking about the two guys fighting to the death over it. We had a similar episode happen in a neighborhood that I was living in, and it's sad, man. It's sad. That guy, I knew him personally. He's no longer alive now, and now I look at the videos and stuff, and I'm like, you know what, man? I'm glad I changed, because I could have ended up like that, or I could have been that. And I have bigger dreams for life than just to end up as a casualty or a statistic or a number. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And, I was a high school dropout at 16.
Yeah, man.
My story should be, not doing what I'm doing today. I have a 10th grade education, and probably the people listening to me talk go, I was going to give them an 8th grade, but okay, 10th works as well. I grew up. I was a fat kid, and I was fat, and
so
I was awkward,
man. Yeah,
and I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I was very awkward. I wasn't athletic.
Right? Yeah, man.
Yeah, I never even won participation trophies, and
I always got the what was it, the nicest personality one? That was always the one.
I didn't even get that. I got like most likely to be fry guy at Burger King, award.
Wow.
And
say it ain't so.
Or for Canadians, we'll say Tim Hortons. I was most likely to be fry guy at Tim Hortons.
There you go.
But my life was, and it drives me nuts when I hear people these days. Well, it's easy for you, like you grew up in this, or, you're white or whatever. And I'm like, right, I understand all of that. And I do. Yeah. But I made a decision at 16 years old to turn my back on higher education, or even to finish the basic education. Yeah. My story, if I fell back on that and I told myself these stories, wouldn't have ended like this. It would have ended with maybe I've been in jail. Yeah. Maybe I would have, sure. Been on welfare or whatever. And not to say anything bad about welfare. There's people who need it and stuff like that. But I could have just been a drone on society because it's just, this was my life. I dropped out of high school. I did have this career in the music industry, but I bankrupted the company at 21. Right. And so now I'm just going to be pissed and miserable. But I changed my story, and that's why it drives me nuts when I hear people tell the story of, when they say, "Oh, well, I'm part of the 99%," no, that's bullshit. There's people in the country, there's people in the world who live on $2.50 a day, $900 a year. Yeah. If you make over $900 a year, you're in the 1% worldwide. So why are you telling yourself that story? Yeah, sure. And so, you want to know about the events real quick, I'll tell you, go to MatthewRix.com. That's R-I-X, not R-I-C-K, because that guy lives a lot more exciting life than I do, but it's R-I-X. We're launching coming soon. It's going to be called musicbusinesssuccess.com. And what it is we're going to do music distribution. We're going to be your personal coaches. And for cheaper price than Netflix or Spotify, you're going to seriously cheap, because it's not about money, but we got to do a bar of entry because you got to have some value in there, or everybody's going to sign up. It's just a waste of time. Yeah, you've got overhead. And also, if it's free, then everybody's just, you're going to have guys who aren't even serious, and they're going to waste time. So for the cheaper price than your Netflix or Spotify subscription, you're going to have personal private coaching. You're going to get advice. We're going to be doing audio stuff. We're going to be doing conference calls. We're going to be doing Ask Anything calls where you can come in with your music business stuff. All that stuff's going to be coming to musicbusinesssuccess.com. Events, we're getting ready to announce all of the events for the rest of 2018. We're going to go to South Africa. We're going to go to Australia, New Zealand.
Nice.
We're going to try to make it. We're going to try to make it to Canada this year, but maybe Ottawa.
In due time.
We'll maybe come up to Ottawa. So you come on over, and I
might have to walk to see you. Huh? Yeah, man, I might have to walk to see you.
we're gonna make sure that your determination is there. So we're gonna schedule it in December. All right.
Nice. Yeah. Give me that extra.
It'll be like negative 22 degrees, and like
it's Celsius.
We're gonna see what your
Celsius here, buddy.
We're gonna see what your so we got that going on. We're going to be announcing all the events. Like I said, all of the events coming up. We don't want money to be an issue with anybody coming to the event. So they're going to be free for you to come. Yeah. And I think what you do is great. I think I find myself to be a kindred soul with you. And
me
I
too.
thank you that you even I wanted to come on today because I wanted to share some things with you and your audience. As I posted about a month ago, I'm going to do a rare interview. I don't like doing interviews because most of the time it's, they ask questions like, who's the favorite artist you've ever worked with? Like I get that question all the time, or why do you think Slovakia should be bombed off the face of the earth? Stuff like that.
Let it go. Let it go.
There we go again. So there's that, and I try not to do interviews anymore, and I really wanted to just take this time to spend with you and show you also publicly that I support what you're doing and who you are as an artist and as a radio guy and a businessman. But more than that, I stand with you because of the person you are to your wife, your kids, and the people in your community and your life. That's more important than anything you do publicly. Man, and so I just want to applaud you and let you know that if you ever
it's
visit
not
Fiji,
unnoticed.
They'll tell you. No, you ever visit Fiji, man? They'll tell you. When you get there, they say, bula, bula, bula. And what it means is that, welcome, my friend, we're glad to see you. Yeah. So they have this belief that there is no such thing as strangers. There's just brothers and sisters that we haven't met yet.
Exactly.
And that's how I feel about you and your family. Like, you guys are my family. And I hope I'm wondering what the ratings are going to be like of this interview. So if they're not too bad, I'd love to come back sometime and share some new things with you.
Man, anytime.
We'll wait to see what the ratings are first, all right? Yeah. I'm the ratings killer. That's what the name of the TV show is going to be.
Either you or me. Either you or me. So don't worry about it. We're in this boat together. Don't worry about it.
If you really want to be a professional in the music industry, you take no personal responsibility. You blame it on the other person. So
is that what it is?
Right?
Is that what it is? Okay, so it's not me, it's you.
There's the secret to success right there. You never take any responsibility for anything unless it's good, right?
Sounds like a breakup line.
No, it is. We're ending. Why? Well, it's you. It's not me. I mean, come on, let's be honest here. I want to rip my arm off and beat you with it.
Yes, exactly, right?
But Twizzle, you're a great man, and just encourage everybody to just keep listening and following what you're doing because I believe great things are coming your way.
Blessings, bro. Blessings. And of course, man, anxious to stay, following because, one of the things that I like about what you said is that, it's like a kindred spirit. Some of the things we've talked about, some of the issues and things that we've been through in this life, I didn't really think there were other people out there like that. And to be able to find somebody like that and to not have to trade, friends for a keyboard, it's nice, to be able to have that actual audio conversation and the potential of meeting and the shaking of the hands. That to me that's incredible, man. So you honored me. You blessed my life, man.
Well, the honor is all mine. Just so you know, the honor is all mine to spend this Monday with you. Yeah, and don't be a stranger. All right.
No,
don't be a stranger.
Likewise, man. Likewise.
And we'll get up to Canada. I mean, I'm not going to do an event in New York anytime soon because New York, is like New York.
Yeah,
but
right.
We're going to. There's another topic we won't talk about, but we're going to get up to. Just add it up to the list. Yeah, I mean, by the time we're done this whole thing, I'm going to do 2-hour interviews on the brilliance of punk rock music.
Exactly, right.
And while the only thing I'll be permitted.
While played in elevators.
And I'll also talk about how Frozen and Let It Go is going to corrupt all our kids one day. But we'll get into that some other time.
Yeah, that'll be the live talk show next time, right?
Exactly. But we're going to get up to Canada, and we'll do some great things up there. And
blessings.
When we do come up to Canada, I'm going to need your help because in order for us to help artists in Canada, they're going to need somebody to be able to be directed to. So I hope that the artists in Canada can be pointed in and rely on you to help them with everything in their lives. I just kind of put you on the spot, but that's fine.
You know what? I'm an entertainer. If I'm not on the spot, I'm not doing my job correctly.
Well, thank you, buddy. I've had a great time.
No problem, man. It's been wonderful. And, of course, man, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of editing to this and get it back on here again at 8 p.m. tonight on Fat Cat Radio. So, if you get a chance to stop by, man, we'd love to have you. I'd love to be able to have you hear my thoughts about the interview. You dig what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
And
edit this thing. Make it slick as an Insane Clown Posse album. Right?
I better run to the Walmart and grab a bucket of paint right now, man.
And some Faygo. Don't forget the Faygo.
Yeah, the Faygo. You're killing me, man. All right, my brother, man. Until we speak later on this afternoon, man. No problem. You have a good day, all right?
You too, man.
All right, bye.